Okay, this is our finale session of Deathfrost Doom using John Harper's World of Dungeons. I think the first thing I want to do is catch up Mache's character, Ithel. So we had to justify your non-presence last session, Ithel, and so what we've decided is that Ithel needed to get some space and basically ran back to the shaft that goes up to the cabin. Okay, and the group just kind of let you go, and maybe you come back, maybe you don't, they don't know, but they're focused on what they're doing. You made the precarious climb up the shaft, and they searched a good amount of the dungeon. They rested for a few hours as well, and you will also get the benefit of rest if you need to level or anything like that. Ithel, you might be close to leveling, or you might already be leveled. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like you're at least. Yeah, you're at least at level 3, I guess, right? So you can do those things, like on one of the breaks or whatever. But what I want to say happened is essentially a love letter whereby Ithel was in the cabin, investigating things in the cabin more, maybe reading through that book a little bit more, because we've established that she can read some Duvan Ku because of her upbringing, because of her education. And maybe even reading, you'll recall that I said that there's writing on the outside of the cabin walls as well. Like there's all kinds of little etched script on the exterior walls of the cabin. And so maybe you were just doing these things, just to try to better understand what was going on here, what this place is about. I'm going to give you a roll on this. It's going to be, I'll let you choose either wisdom or intelligence, whichever's your higher stat. You can go with that one. And
yeah, it doesn't make a big difference. So
doesn't make a difference. Okay, you're going to roll in any case. And on a 10 plus, you'll be able to choose some options. You'll be able to learn some things, basically, either about you'll learn something about these little amber marbles and what they mean in the adventure. You can learn something about an important architectural feature of this place. You can learn something about something called the sacred parasite in your readings. Okay, those are the 3 options. If you can hit a 12 plus, I'll give you all 3. On a 10 plus, you can choose 2. On a 7 or 9, you can choose 1.
Okay. So that's a 3.
Okay, good. I'll still give you 1, and then I will tell you what happens. So depending on what you choose, we'll kind of indicate my hard move. Do you have lore or anything like that?
Yes, I do.
You have lore, so you can't fail. All you can get is a hard 7 to 9. So you still get to pick one, and I will. It'll just be. I'll handle the hardness of it. So just
okay. So 3. I'm going to go with Sacred Parasite.
The Sacred Parasite. Okay, so this thing, the Sacred Parasite, whatever it is, it sings a song. It constantly sings a song. And you will learn that the Sacred Parasite itself is sensitive to hearing this song. So that's what you've learned. That's that. This might tie to, if you recall, the bone organ. There might be a connection there, right? The bone organ in the chapel, which you were playing originally, and you'll learn that from the walls, from the carvings on the walls. Okay. As far as your hard 7 to 9, you can learn something else too, but not in a way you want to learn it. One of the eyeballs of the stag head in the cabin, the one that's left. Remember, I said there was one, or no, I said they were both missing, didn't I? I can't recall if I said they were both. I think it's one is missing. The other one falls out and smashes on the ground, and that ambery liquid slithers out of the eyeball, out of the glass, broken glass. And if you follow it, it goes into the body of Joff, who is Mirasa's brother, in the snow. Remember, there was some that was already in his head. The rest of it gets there, and it animates him. He suddenly is like animated with life. And while you're paying attention to this, he grabs you by your throat and is trying to choke you out. What do you do?
I try to push him away. Maybe this is like a slopey area, right? So maybe try to push him so he tumbles and falls.
Nice. Just give me a strength. Yeah, roll plus strength.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I have +1 for that. Yeah. 10.
What was it?
10. 9 + 1.
10? You broke up a little bit. Oh, 10. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you broke up just a bit. Awesome. Yeah, you can tumble him off the side of the mountain, down or whatever. Just describe what you do. What does it look like?
Okay, I think that, sorry, I will just stop something that runs in the background here, because I think that's what makes me break up. So I think we are struggling for a moment. He tries to choke me. I try to push his hands away. Finally, I manage to grapple him, and maybe I'm doing some kind of throw and just throw him off the ledge or just to a more slopey area, and he just tumbles farther and farther away, and I see just a bits of snow being brought up by where he falls.
Nice. So you have two important pieces of information for the group. These little amber marbles reanimate the dead, okay, the stuff inside of them. The other important piece of information you have is about the sacred parasite and its song, okay? Now, cutting back to the group. So, Mirasa, you were facing down this creature, okay? This creature that's singing this song that's emanating off its like gross gelatinous body, right? Little tiny hands, head kind of like wobbling out of the frame of the door, right? Its body, this gelatinous substance, fills this room, and suspended in it are thousands and thousands of these little amber marbles, okay? You were pretty close to it. I think by the time you realize what it's doing, or your feet, what do you do?
Yeah, so I think it's in the frame of this door. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just trying to get the map up here.
Say it again.
There's no actual door. It's just like an opening, right?
There's no actual like swing open door. It's just a frame. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look at the face, and I'm going to ask, "Who's there? Who is that?"
Again, that strange otherworldly music is kind of like radiating off its body, and it just like looks up at you, and if you were close enough to hear it, you would hear it just kind of like just give you like a pointless raspy noise, like, and its eyes dull and glazed, devoid of intelligence. And then it just goes, and a big gout of liquid is flying at you. What do you do?
I'm gonna get the hell out of there.
Roll plus dexterity.
Okay. That's 6.
All right. Let's see here.
Is there a chance
Okay.
I can take the damage?
I
from
do have
my
athletics,
friend?
so
You have athletics. Yeah, I'll give you a hard 7 to 9 on that. That's fine. Since you have athletics, you will dodge out of the way. I think in order to, do you have a shield or anything like that?
yeah, I have a shield.
I think basically what happens is you raise your shield, and I think it's not strapped on really well, and so when the liquid hits, it kind of like buffets your shield off your hand, and it goes, kind of like goes clanging off in the corridor and away from you, and so you just like roll out of the way. You're fine, but your shield is just no longer at hand. So the rest of the group, Tig and Vrock, you guys were in that room. I'll remind you guys to, if you want to pull up your little map there, you can kind of see what's going on in that folder link on our image board. We have lots of maps. Right. You guys were in, I guess this one's not mapped out, but there's a little room basically like just to the south of the little corridor, like just jutting off the south of the south of the corridor where the creature is. You guys are nearby. You can probably hear all that, or you can at least maybe see Marasa like falling back out of the in your vision from outside the room, and you see the splatter of this liquid. What do you guys do? We'll start with Vrock.
Brock is a little bit simple-minded sometimes.
Yes.
And he's protective. So something is attacking Mirasa. So I must protect her.
Okay. Especially
because I'm not sure that she sometimes thinks that she's the leader, but I am. So I go in the name of...
In the name of Vrock, indeed. You go out into the hallway, and yeah, you see the creature. Like you see it down the hallway because you guys have a torch dropped or whatever, and it clearly just like belched some kind of liquid because there's still like liquid like dribbling out of its mouth as it wavers around. What do you do?
There must be something among the creature which I can smash with my axe, with my pickaxe, which I got back from the Mirasa, thankfully.
Indeed. Do you just run up and hit it?
Yeah.
Tig, what are you going to be doing once you see Vrock run out into the hall and presumably like charge the creature? What are you up to?
So I'm gonna kind of follow him, knowing how stupid he is, and and I'm going to just kind of survey the situation before I do anything. So he's trying to attack the liquid.
That's probably smart.
So he's trying to attack the liquid
or the creature that's like the little head and hands. Yeah, I think is what it sounds like.
Right. That's made out of this liquid.
Right.
And then Marasa's on the floor.
Yeah, Marasa kind of like, we'll say Marasa like dived back into the hallway that's kind of like catty corner to the one, or kind of across the way from the one you guys were coming out of. So it's like a little T. It's a little T right there, a little T juncture.
So there's the T juncture is like going what, north is the slime, and going south is another hallway.
It's north is the child statues. South is where you guys were. West is the slime creature, and east is the eyeball wall.
Okay. So where we were was south, you said? Okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Well, so there's child statues, and then there's the slime. I'm gonna be like,
Hmm.
you know, maybe folks, let's circumnavigate. There's some very beautiful statuary up here, and this is not something that we want to deal with right now.
Possibly not. Possibly not. I'm going to pull up. I'll take a little snapshot of that hall so you guys know what the situation kind of is here. On the image board. There we go. Right. Get that uploaded. Frock, you can go ahead and roll plus strength to attack.
And we are still negatively affected. -1 ongoing, right?
Right.
It's still an 8.
Awesome. Here it is. This is what the hall looks like. There we go.
Oh no, it's 7 only. But it's 7.
That's fine. You'll just be trading blows. So he does with his little hands. He will when he grabs you with his little hands, he has like a freezing touch that that chills you, hurts you, and you just attack in the way that you attack. Go ahead and he does a d6 damage. So roll a d6.
D6 damage. 1.
Okay.
How
And then how much
count?
damage did you do? I'm sorry.
Armor counts.
Armor counts. Yeah.
Yeah, then it's reflected. I do damage. That's how. Where do I see that?
It's for your weapon. Your weapons each have a damage rating.
Aha. A pickaxe. What does that have?
Probably a d6.
D6. That sounds good. 2.
Nice. This is all going on. It's grabbing at you fecklessly, just like doing its thing. You swing your pickaxe, right? You're doing your thing. It's all happening. Meanwhile, Marasa and Tig, you guys are like in the little hallway with the fountains with the kids, the kid carvings. A vault door at your back. What do you guys do? And Ithel, I'll get you involved there in a minute. Marasa.
So we're in this little alcove at 20 on the map, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, there's a door right behind me. So let's open that up.
That's one of the vault doors. You're gonna pop that open.
Yep.
All right. So you undo you twist the handle and it opens up, and it opens outwards. Do you go inside?
Yeah.
Inside, at a glance, in the dim ambient light of your torchlight, you see hundreds and hundreds of little plinths that have mummified children standing upright on them. They look like little children, maybe kids as old as up to 12 or 13 years old, wrapped in bandages and basically with stints that hold them standing upright on these little plinths. Hundreds, as far as your eyes can see. It's a massive, massive room. But you can't tell exactly how big because of your torchlight limitations. So.
Yeah.
Tig, do you go in there with him? With her? Tig, are you there?
Oh yeah, no. So you're sorry, something happened. So she's going up north toward the statues.
She opened the vault door and went inside,
Okay.
and saw.
Oh yeah, I'm going that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, as described, you guys run into a massive room that has hundreds of plinths of child mummies standing up on them. Okay.
Oh boy.
That's at a glance. Ithel, you are. I think at this point you're probably making your way down into the main chapel area. Okay, Ithel, and if you look at the map on the image board, Ethel, that the door on the east, that's open. That space is completely open, and you can maybe even hear you hear the music pretty loudly, but you also hear the like sort of like cries and exultations of your companions much further down the there's like they sound not close, but you can hear them, right? And so I guess my question for you is, what do you do?
Okay, I think I'm going to make my way towards them, but slowly and carefully. Just before I do that, so I rerolled my. I've done a level up, right? So that is okay. I rerolled my HP and added the abilities.
Okay. Cool.
And just I have to pick one last team. Reflexes or backstab? Anyone can advise me on that?
I don't. Backstab might be helpful in this. I don't know. Reflexes might be more important overall, but I don't have any.
I am going to go with backstab and awareness, so that will be like as a skill. So that would be maybe a good combination. Yeah, I have a stealth, so that's cool. Okay, so I'm carefully making my way towards the rest.
Sure, no problem. Okay, so back at the slime creature, Vrock, what do you do?
I'm sure it must go down like in a minute. I just need to further hack and slash my way through it.
Sure.
It doesn't seem like that it's moving much more anymore, but still, like, it hurts. Not that much. And so, but I'm moaning because even if I don't lose hit points, it still hurts fighting this creature. I'm a bit devastated that my friends are not coming and helping me. But I still try to continue hacking and slashing in it, and I'm on the ground by now.
Of course, go for it. Roll plus strength.
Yeah, that's 9.
All right. You'll be trading moves again. Just roll your damage on him.
Yes. I make 6 points of damage, and they deal me 2 points of damage.
He's not touching you with his freezing touch. Instead, while you're there, he just begins to like like this liquid all over you. It just splatters all over you. It's cold, like his touch. It's just splattering on you. It's getting inside your armor. It's cold, but it doesn't really hurt. There's a bigger problem with it, which is, I'm going to tell you right now. The bigger problem is that this is basically, I need you to roll con. So
10.
You blink away.
Aloe vera.
You guys don't hear Vrock anymore. He was previously crying and screaming and yelling as he attacked, and then it went silent. Okay. Garrett, you're moving your mouth. Are you trying to talk? I can't tell.
I'm muted.
Got it. I figured that's what you were going for.
We don't hear him anymore. He's gone.
He's gone, right? In fact, all you hear now is just the music. There's no more like sounds of struggle or anything behind you.
Yeah, just gonna keep like, I think this is like desperate times. So yeah. I'm leading the group, I guess, charging through this room with all these plinths and children mummies on them, and just gonna run on down through the middle of it.
Right. No, for sure. Same.
Yeah, you guys run through you're running through it. There are mounted freestanding child mummies all over the place. Infants, toddlers wrapped with cloth. Some of them are a little more exposed. You see their desiccated faces.
Marasa, this is quite disgusting. I feel uneasy right now with all of these things, but let us keep moving. At least we are rid of that goose man.
It's quite large, this room. There are in the room that you're in, it's probably the size of like it's probably the size of like half a football field, and there are like more than hundreds as you move your torchlight through. We're talking thousands of little mummies,
geez,
all
Louise.
these plinths. You find some stairs that go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, not stopping.
You go down the stairs and you're in a room just like the one up above. It's just more and more, thousands more.
Oh my god.
Ithel.
Rasa?
Ithel, you're moving through. You get to that little, I think you get to that little juncture there at the top of the map, right where you moved your picture. Oh no, that's Marasa, never mind. Right where the picture of Marasa is, that's where you're at. You see I'll put you over there. You see the creature just like down the way, because they have a drop torch right there. You see its little head and its little arms like sticking out of this gelatinous wall. And it's just like kind of like, just swaying back and forth, singing its song, right? You see the open vault door up to the north a little bit. And
okay. Do I see anyone from our team near that creature?
No, you do not.
Okay, then I'm sneaking past it. I'm not going towards that creature. I'm going to the vault. I mean, do I see any lights from the vault? Or
you do? Yeah, you'll see the torch. Okay. Yeah, well, maybe you might see like a really, really faint torchlight, like near the stairs of where they went.
Okay, so that looks like. Okay, so I'm going after them.
Indeed.
Taking care. So I don't know if there are any traps here, but I don't know. I don't want to trip something. So, but if they pass through, then probably it's safe. So, yeah.
Vrock, you blink back to being in front of the creature. You were gone momentarily. You were momentarily like in just a sort of inky black void, and you kind of wandered around a bit. Maybe you even saw like a light, something to follow. And as you moved toward it, before you could get to it, you blinked right back, and you're right here with this creature again. Little hands, little head swaying around, reaching for you, grasping for you. What do you do?
But I hit it with my axe.
Go for it.
It should have been
strength.
done already. But like,
Roll plus strength.
Slimy creatures are just the worst. 7.
Okay.
Yes. I was on. Like, not back to the void, please.
Yeah, you can roll your damage. Go ahead.
5.
Okay, awesome. And he'll touch you with freezing touch for another d6.
3 for me.
All right. Meanwhile, Tig and Marasa, you're in this room, this vast room with these thousands of child mummies. They're arranged in a way that looks like it's like really respectful, like their hands have been carefully placed over their shoulders. They have no treasure or anything laying about. It's just, it's just this really, really stark, quiet, ominous sign, ominous vision of all these kids just row after row. I mean, seemingly endless. It's not endless, but it seems like it. What do you guys do?
Well, this seems to be taking a while. Maybe there's some sort of catch to this situation. But I'm afraid this is making me very uneasy, Marasa. How have all of these? There's thousands of children.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to like look back at where we came in, and then I'm going to walk up to one of the the child mummy things and just take a closer look at it. And is there anything remarkable about it aside from it being a mummy?
I don't think so. You can give me a wisdom roll, but
yeah, I'm kind of looking around trying to find a solution here.
okay.
Yeah, I got a 10.
Awesome. I'll let you ask me any 2 questions you want about either this crypt or about the mummies or whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, so about the mummies, is there any indication of why they were set up like this?
You can deduce that this is just where they buried the kids, and the adults are buried somewhere else or arranged somewhere else.
Okay,
they stood upright. Yeah, they were positioned upright because I think it was done to like honor them, you know, in a way.
Okay, so this is like a mausoleum or something.
It's just a big mausoleum. Yeah.
And then I guess my other question would be is, is there anything else in this room or any direction or anything that I might notice?
No.
Okay.
The only way out is back up the way you came.
Okay. So yeah, I turn to the others and I'm like, I don't think that we should stay down here. I think we need to go back up.
Yeah, you'll probably run into Ithel at some point too as you're making your way back up, right? Meanwhile, Vrock, your situation is happening in a much smaller time frame than what they're doing, right? I mean, maybe you were blinked away for a little bit, which is while this is all going on, right? And maybe now you would have, after they've made this determination, you would have blinked back, and now you're fighting the thing. What do you do?
It's still up.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't seem too bothered by you yet.
Acts like 3 times and really hard, and I get more scared and scared. And when I see my friends walking behind me, I try to escape.
Okay, you can just run away. You can disengage whenever you want. It can't chase you. So.
Oh. Running into them, and I give Miroslav a look. Still alive.
You disappeared. We weren't sure where you went.
So you just continued walking elsewhere.
Wait, how did he get there with passing me by?
Ivan, you are here. You're still alive.
Yes, I am. And what is this? I'm looking around at those mummies like it was, you who put them here.
Mummies?
Yeah. There's no way they did it. There are literal tens of thousands of them.
Yeah, I know. Just like I'm looking at them with contempt, like.
As a contemptuous look. Got it. Okay.
Vic, do you have any clue what this is? The smear, this. Wow.
I managed to decipher some of the writings on the cabin wall, and it mentions some kind of holy parasite, and it reacts to the songs. And I have
song that it sings.
Yeah, the song that it sings. So if you sing it to it, it may react in some way.
Well, are you good at singing? I think.
Oh, My throat is a bit parched. I'm sure Tig or Mirasa, you will be much better at this than myself. And oh, Mirasa, your brother tried to kill me, by the way.
Oh, my brother? What? My brother is dead. You saw his body up there.
Yeah, but it's one of those amber liquid things got into him, and he stood up, and he tried to kill me. So
He's alive?
I wouldn't phrase it that way. Yes, I think that Vrak is closer to the truth. Anyway, I had to throw him off the. I mean, he fell off the ledge, and even if he was undead, now hopefully he's resting in peace somewhere at the bottom of the mountain.
Oh my! Well, that's. I mean, your brother's been dead for years, Marasa. I think maybe it's fresh again.
I think I give Ithel like a really like sour look, just because like even though it makes sense, I still hate it. So
I mean, and to be clear, her brother was only dead for like a few weeks, like, or if even that. Like he hadn't gone up the mountain much earlier than you guys did. So
right.
Well, right, but
well,
she's
Mirasa
been around for
40
20
years ago.
years.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna lead
there's that
everyone.
point too, right? Yeah. In
Yeah.
her mind, yeah, that's a good point. In her mind, he has been dead for like 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lead everyone down that passageway that goes south from the children's statues.
That's just the room they were in that has all the pillows and the tattoo equipment.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
What
So
What type of equipment?
There was like an ink pot and needles, and there was a phrase that Vrak interpreted but did not share with Tig.
Okay.
it wasn't worth sharing. It was nothing worth of mention.
No, well, he just doesn't know how to actually read this stuff. No, I'm gonna just I'm gonna just hum along to this song that the slime is making.
Okay. It doesn't seem like he can hear you because he's pretty loud, right? Like. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So this slime,
I
it
will do
can't
it.
go anywhere, right? Like it's literally like stuck there, just being
It's
really
just
freaky.
yeah. It just hangs in the doorway. I mean, it fills up that room, and then its little appendages in its head just stick out of the doorway. If you leave it alone, it'll just go back in.
I will move closer to the slime and start singing that song.
As soon as you get within about like 10 or 15 feet, it just begins. It'll start to belch at you.
Okay, I'm jumping away.
Yeah, you can, knowing that it's going to do that, you can step out of the way before it hits you.
Can I okay, so I'm trying to keep safe distance, but sing loud enough so it can hear me.
Yeah, it won't. You got to find some other way of delivering the music.
Okay, I think we need to go back a bit, and I'm going towards the large chamber with the organ.
Indeed. Is anybody going with Ithel? Or?
I will play it on the.
I think we're all going.
Yeah.
I brought it nearly down. If Mirasa and I combine forces, we can
As
kill
we're
it.
going back to the organ in the main room. That's what you're referring to, right?
Yep.
Yes.
As you're going back, as soon as you arrive in the main room, you see another ice skull fall. It falls, it shatters on the ground, and you hear the boo.
7.
How many is that now?
Skulls remaining. You have 7 left.
7 left. Yeah.
Oh no!
What's that?
12.
At least we know that we have that shortcut out.
Yeah.
And what shortcut?
Behind the kitchen, there's a kitchen down here. We found a ladder that goes right back up to the surface.
Oh, so just okay. I will try to keep with you. Then, okay, I will try to play that melody.
I'm going to pull out my sword and just kind of be on defense.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm also gonna follow that lead.
I give you cover from inside, like if anything is following us.
If you you've established that you're kind of trained in music already, right?
I think,
thought
yeah.
you know how to. Yeah. You can mimic the basic melody of the song that the creature sings on the bone organ, and maybe one of you is hanging back in the hallway a little bit that you just came from.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you get a few bars in, maybe one, as soon as you kind of get into it a little bit, the creature stops singing. You hear it stop immediately.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
I'm continuing playing, and I wait for their signal.
Marasa, let's see what's going on and see if maybe we should see what is happening to this creature. And so I'm just gonna head back.
Yes,
to
maybe
check it out.
you could take a look at it and see if you can find some kind of weakness or way to take it out. It could be susceptible to your magics or something.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to the
All
hallway,
right.
Assuming you go back down the long hall, then turn, go to where it was, you'll see that the creature has it's kind of like collapsed a little bit. The whole gelatinous-filled room is collapsed to where it's only about a foot thick with this stuff now, right?
Uh-huh.
And you can see now that there's a big pit in the middle of the room that it seems to have like sucked down into a little bit, right? But the room is you can climb on this this foot thick version of it. You can kind of slosh your way through that, climb on it. And you can see in the room now there's an altar. It looks just like the altar in the painting back in the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of objects on there. The main thing that you see on the altar is there's a big pitchfork on the altar.
Uh-huh.
And also on the altar there is a goblet, like this beautiful gold goblet and a pitchfork on this altar. And you also know from last session, you know that there's a secret passageway to the left of the altar. Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm
So
going
you
to
guys
take
do.
those. I'm going to take the pitchfork at the very least, and probably the goblet as well.
It's mine.
As you
have a pickaxe.
So you have to kind of like navigate, like you have to kind of like climb on the slime, basically. Doing so, you can do it no problem. Doing so though, as you do it, you will inadvertently like step on some of the amber orbs in its body, and as you step on them and crunch them, you see that little amber liquid like races away down into the direction of one of the vaults. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you can otherwise like kind of slosh your way over. You're gonna grab the pitchfork and the goblet, right?
Yeah. Is there anything on the so there's a pit, right? Is there anything like on the ceiling, like some sort of like covering, like a manhole that can get lowered or something, or is it's just a pit in the floor?
No, roll plus wisdom. See what you might be able to. Maybe not that, but you might find something else interesting.
Well, that's 7.
I'll tell you one useful bit of information.
Mm-hmm.
Near the pit, since you were looking at the pit and above it, near the pit, you will see beneath this, just beneath the surface of the slime, you'll see the little hands and the head of the creature. The eyes are closed. It appears to be sleeping. It's very vulnerable right now.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna stab it with the pitchfork.
Nice. Okay.
No,
Marasa,
not with Mishkara's pitchfork.
Are you there, Brock?
Stab it in the face.
I think my
that slimy
senses brought me there. Yeah.
Marasa, do you have anything to say about this? Are you cool with her stabbing it?
I'm not sure it's a
I
good
should
idea.
find out what you're doing. I mean, you're there. I just want to
Because,
see what you're doing, basically.
Yeah, so I'm going to I'm really hesitant to start waging my way into this slime stuff. But yeah, I think
Take
that
that.
yeah. What'd you say?
Oh, it sounds like you're gonna let Tig stab it. So
yeah, I'm gonna let her stab it.
You jam the pitchfork into its head. It's completely vulnerable to you, right? You just jam it in there. The pitchfork, the middle, goes straight into its head, and its eyes snap open, and it's just like it's under the jelly. You kill that sucker, and the slime explodes out of the pit like a fucking geyser. It just goes like out of the pit. Sprays the room, rushes out of the hall all over you as well. Marasa just splatters all over you. These little amber things are shattering all over the place. They're being slammed up against walls and falling down. Little amber slugs racing down the hall, going into the walls, seeping into the walls, seeping into the vault doors.
Oh my god!
But the room is clear. You're gonna take a d6 damage, Tig, for just the force of being pushed and smashed back by this cold liquid.
All right, 4.
Okay. And I thought you can stop playing now.
As soon as someone tells me I can stop playing, I will. And when I see all that mess, I will probably again give them contemptuous look and ask what happened.
Yeah, like if you guys poke your head down the hall, you'll see that liquid dribbling down the hall. You'll see the little amber slugs like racing into the areas of the dungeon where the vault doors are. Okay, there are several vault doors, Ithel, that didn't get opened. That are there are 3 in fact, along that long hallway.
No.
So those vaults have mummified bodies in them, right?
Probably, but I don't know.
I asking the team. Like I'm thinking aloud.
Yeah.
So I've seen one of those small slugs running from the deer's head in the cabin to your brother's body, and then it stood up. So each of those probably will animate one corpse.
And there are tons of them, Tig, racing out of the pit.
How many? And then I probably see all that like stream of those racing.
Thousands and thousands, more than you can count.
Oh
my goodness.
I
just destroyed the world, guys.
Maybe. You guys, as you're having this conversation, you hear another.
So we're in this room, and we know that there's a secret passage here. So I'm gonna be looking for that. I want to get to the bottom of it.
Where is that?
You can find it.
It's the room that Tig is in.
At 22.
That room that's,
So you could ask me for help because I'm good at it. I don't know if Tinker helps. No, it doesn't help.
They know where it's at, so I'm not making them roll because they found an architectural drawing that shows it, so they know it's there. So there's basically just like a thin stone wall that can be pushed, that kind of spun and pushed out.
Yeah, so I find that and I push it in, and I'm just going very briskly, like almost in a run, make my way through this place.
You're here now. I'm going to go ahead and move this over. This is the map that you guys found last session.
Nice.
with all the little notations that you guys interpreted and made on it about the various denizens. This lines up right here, basically. And oh shit. I don't know what I'm doing. We'll just put this over here. So this is where you're at. It's there. You'll recognize the symbols above this door right here. You guys were studying it for some time.
Mhm.
The twin, and they're above the door. It says the Twin Inquisitors in Duvanku. What do you guys do? Also, Vrock, your pitchfork.
Has Vrock's reappeared?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Vrock's been back for a little bit.
Yeah. I was screaming at you like the Mishkara's pitchfork. Don't touch it! No! It's cursed. Brings the plague. It's promised. The prophecy says it will bring the plague to the country, the whole world.
It's
Then why do you
fulfilling
want
it so far.
To keep it safe, to bring it to a sanctuary, to a place where it's protected by the gods. It's too late.
Fine. I toss it at his feet, and I'm like, well, I know what I'm coming for. It's in that room, and let us go.
Jason, so those doors along the way, none of those were open, right?
No, the only ones you've opened is the one up near number 20. You've opened that one.
So I'm just going to wander away for a moment, and I'm going to check this one. Just to get a small peek.
There are little amber slugs seeping into the walls and seeping into the cracks of the door. So
how many?
Thousands. I don't know.
Do I hear
don't leave that door alone.
No, I'm like discreetly. I'm like discreetly staying behind, so you don't have to worry.
Well, so that's good. Well, I'm into that. So
Yeah,
I'll cut to you real briefly, Ethel. I mean, it's a big, large vault door. It has like a bank vault. It has a wheel. And what do you do?
Do I hear any noises from behind it?
Nope, you don't.
Great. So I'm going to open it.
Okay. It takes a minute, but you spin it. You wrench it open, and it spins freely, and it opens right up. It opens outward toward you, and inside, at a glance, you will see stacks and stacks of. It's basically like a sort of grid or honeycomb of interments, like little bodies, like stacked up one on top of the other inside little alcoves, right?
Okay, I'm closing the door quickly.
Yeah, the wheel doesn't tighten. It just spins freely now.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to like hold it with a torch or something like that. Like try to. So it doesn't. Okay, I get it. So when I try to close it, I can't. It's like lock mechanism is broken.
It's loose. Yeah, the wheel just spins.
Can I use my tinker to try to close it again? It's
possibly if you have that kind of time. Let's cut back to the rest of the group.
Okay.
So, Tig, you know that this door that you see there contains something called the Twin Inquisitors, and you know that you believe this is where Scarpenive's helm is. This is what you came for. What do you do? It's just a simple wooden door.
I'm like, I'm like, okay, guys, here we are. We're at the place we need to be. We're at the place I need to be, and then we can leave, and I can try and destroy this place. Shall we continue through this door so that I may recover the ancient artifact that I need.
Yes, come on, let's go with haste.
Okay.
Hmm.
I bash the door down.
Indeed.
I just run.
Yeah, it
slam it open.
it has a drop bar on it.
Mhm.
You can just raise that drop bar, and then
Okay.
Oh
gosh, it's locked from the outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you doing? It's like this. Just lift this, move it out of the way.
All the things that want to be kept in, you guys insist on letting them out. You go inside. I assume you guys have a torch. Inside, you see a room that's about the size of a really big like den or living room. Okay. And you can't see all around it yet, but right as you walk in, there are standing upright a pair of empty sarcophagi, okay? And they look like they have whatever is in them is out, and you see the lids of the sarcophagi are kind of like have fallen off and are like on the ground. One of the sarcophagi one of the lids has an image on it of a very large, obese woman who is pulling a child out of her mouth face first. The other lid is a very large, bloated man sitting in a cross-legged position, kind of like a Buddha, but with a bunch of little tiny arms reaching out from the earth, trying to grab him. What do you all do?
Is the helmet in the room?
If you continue looking around, before you get any further, and coming from one particular darkened corner of the room, you will hear a man's voice call out to you that says, "For what purpose have you come here? Why have you come here?"
I am an emissary of Scarpenive, Melixia the Shining-Eyed, Black Queen of the Sun, and I am here to reclaim what is rightfully hers.
Answer my question. Why have you come here?
That's just what I said.
Come and touch my horrid flesh.
Where? No.
You hear another voice. Yes, yes. Touch us as we wallow in filth. Come, touch my horrid flesh.
Is there a helmet?
Do you move closer to where they're at?
Tentatively, but I'm really just looking for the helmet. I do not want to touch these creatures.
I'm going to take out. I'm going to take out that wooden mask I have, and I'm going to. I'm seeing if they react to this in any way. Okay, no reaction. All right.
Brock, what are you doing during all this?
Well, I'm still confused about how Tick reacted to the pitchfork, and then suddenly she's talking about the artifact she is for and is expecting anybody to follow her simply. And I'm very confused and upset about this behavior. And what upsets me even more is that I found the artifact I was looking for. I should be happy. I should run out of this dungeon now and bring it to a safe place and free the world from this plague. But I also feel responsible for these people who just fuck around with me, actually. I go in, I need to save this helmet as well.
Tig, as you're moving around, as your light gets closer, you see a pair of very large, obese, naked bodies, people standing. They have thick trunk-like legs and arms. there's one who, like, she's the one who keeps saying, like, we touch us as we wallow in filth. Her mouth is distended and stretched open, and there are little like mummified fetuses crawling out of her mouth, crawling all over her body, and then going back into her mouth like they live there or something.
Ugh.
And the other one, his stomach is exposed, and you see that he's got like, you see his rib cage, and inside he's got like big, huge potato-sized maggots chewing on his bones and his flesh. And just beyond them, you see a little pile of treasure with various things in it. That might be where your helm is.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make a beeline to the sculpture, or to the treasure.
And I'm going to help her. I'm going to pull out my sword and fight these things if they go for her.
Okay. They just continue like on and on about like, come touch my horrid flesh and all this other stuff, right? Touch us, touch us. Tig, as you go, it doesn't look like they can move well. They're kind of just like standing there, or maybe they move really slowly or something, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But you can easily get around them, okay? And here's the problem. The woman, we assume she's the woman, just, I don't know why, because she's got fetuses crawling out of her mouth, we'll just say that. And basically like a swarm of these little fetuses crawl out and like fall down to the ground and then begin scrambling toward you. What do you do? They're just like coming out one after the other. Blah, blah, blah.
I turn to Nissa and I'm just like, take care of these things. And
Are you talking about me?
no, Nissa, my tiger.
Oh, the tiger, right? Yeah. I forgot about the rainbow tiger. Yeah, the rainbow tiger will just start like tearing into them, like, and it'll keep them busy, but you may have to help the rainbow tiger at some point.
Yeah.
You're thumbing through the stuff. You see the helm. Do you grab it?
Yeah, I put it on immediately.
Okay. Marasa, these big maggots begin to fall out of the guy's body and fall all over the ground. They're just like plump, 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 falling onto the ground, and they're just starting to pile up and crawl toward you. What do you do?
Do they have faces?
No, they don't have faces. They're just big maggots.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna start slashing at these things and stomping around.
Nice.
Stomping on them, whatever I need to do.
Vrock, you are newly in the room, and you have a better sense of kind of what's happening here than maybe your companions do, because they're busy focusing on other things. You see that like this swarm is getting worse and worse. Like the room is beginning to fill with these nasty little fetuses and all these maggots, and they're going to get overwhelmed if you don't get them out of there. What do you do?
I try to pull myself together and use my leadership, my trained leadership, as I learned at the order of the Goose Knights of Prain, and try to make them aware of this.
Okay.
Try to convince them with all my charisma I have that they speed up and get out here. And I get furious about it.
Indeed. I mean, you guys hear Vrock, screaming at you like, "Get the hell out of there! Get the hell out of there!" And you've got the helm. The floor is now covered in a combination of large maggots and little clawing mummy fetuses, or little withered, desiccated fetuses, just writhing a carpet of them. They're trying to get up your legs. They're trying to get up your, they're grabbing onto anything they can grab onto. You just have to escape. So, Marasa, how do you escape?
Yeah, I actually, I'm making my way to the exit, and I'm using both my sword and the torch to kind of beat these things away. And I'm kind of hoping the fire will do something as well. But yeah, just like
roll plus strength. Roll plus strength, and if you need aid from Tig, you can take it, and this will count for both you guys. So
Okay. Yeah.
I would also
Got a
become an egg
9.
before.
9.
Oh.
Tig, give me a roll with Tig. How would you be getting away? What would you be doing to try to escape?
Like I would mostly just be like sort of stabbing them with my spear and of course Nissa would be like scratching at them and clawing
Nice.
at them and destroying them as we kind of backed out of the room.
Give me a roll plus strength, and this, if you succeed, you'll add 1 to the main roll to escape.
All right, that's 10.
Nice. Just give me the whole scene here, Marasa, as you and Vrock and Tig and Nissa get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. So yeah, we're like making our way to exit, and one of these little baby things is crawling up my leg, and so I bash it off with the torch, and then there's another one coming, and so I pick that one up and I just like chuck it at one of those 2 big mummy people or whatever. and then I think maybe like one like crawls up my back and is on my shoulder, and maybe Tig like stabs it with the spear. and yeah, I think we just get there.
And Vrock, once you guys get out, you just slam the door shut.
Yes. One last glance inside,
Indeed.
whispering holy words.
And you just
Devils
hear,
themselves.
like as you close the door, a little muffled now, but you hear it. Come touch my horrid flesh.
Close
Touch
the door and bar it up.
Indeed. You hear another. And let's take a quick break. 2 minutes.
Down to 5.
Ithel, you wanted to try to repair the mechanism in that door with Tinker, right?
Yep.
I assume it's a class skill of some sort. Or is that...
Yeah, it's mostly talks. You can attempt to quickly pick a lock, pick a pocket, or disarm a trap. So I don't know if it really qualifies.
Oh yeah, I think that's enough. You might have enough. It's enough justification to try, I guess, to see.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a so yeah, you can try to fiddle around inside the mechanism in the vault door that makes it to where it doesn't catch anymore, right? Give me let's do a dexterity. I think the major thing at stake here is you might bust your tools while doing it. Okay.
Okay, that's sensible. So. And one more thing, I will check. Okay. So that's a 7.
Okay. So that's going to take a little bit. While you're doing that, we'll come back to it in a minute. Ithel is working on this door. I want to just go around the table and find out what everyone else is doing while Ithel's doing that. Brock, what are you up to?
While we are running back the hallway, we find her working there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's quite irritating. Like, she opened the door, and what is she doing there? Has she turned undead? Roof. Stay away, undead! Just to see, like, with my sacred powers, to
Against
see if
me?
she actually is undead.
No, Ithel, who's working on the door that she opened.
Yeah. Seems she's not undead.
We're not really in the same place, though, are we? Like, we're down in this other map area, and Ithel is upstairs, or not upstairs, but kind of outside. Next
Yeah,
to
I mean, you guys can walk back. It's not like that. There's no, there's nothing to stop you.
Right.
These are connected up hallways. So.
Right. Okay.
That's why I asked that. Like, if we are on our way back, right? Oh no, we are not.
So we went in one room. We went in the Twin Inquisitors room, but there are all of these other rooms that are all like named.
Because I understood that Tick wants to get out as soon as she has the helmet.
Which way you came in?
Yes.
I mean, it was this here? Let me do like this. Through here?
They came in through on the right hand side.
On the right, so from the
like
east.
It connects just how I have it up there, like that. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's the direction I took, at least, and I was expecting the others to follow me because we have the pitchfork, we have the helmet, and so I'm. But I see that Ithel is still alive after she disappeared into nothing, but she's on one of these doors.
I turn to everyone and I'm like, you guys can go without me, but I have to get more answers, and I'm just going to keep going further.
Whoa!
Rust.
Another one disappearing.
Tig, what are you up to?
Well, I have the helmet, and the helmet is, of course, and I put it on because it's magical, and I'm just wondering if I get any sign from Scarpenive in some way after retrieving it.
Yeah. Tell me something about. I want you to fill in some fiction here, Jennifer. I think that Scarpenive, I think that there is either in the recent past or maybe something because you've lived in the future and you know kind of what's coming, let's say in the future.
Right.
You know of a great battle involving Scarpenive and her followers. And I think it doesn't go well because Scarpenive doesn't have the forces equal to take on those who are trying to stop, who are trying to destroy her followers. Okay. tell me a little bit about that when you get a minute. Like, you can think about it for a minute, but basically I think you're going to be reminded as you put on the helm of like this great future calamity that will descend upon the followers of Scarpenive, because they don't have forces equal to what's in opposition to them.
So I actually have something.
Please do. I'd love to hear it.
As I put on the helmet, I like after I exit the room and I have this helmet on, like I go into some sort of trance where I am floating and floating in the sun with Scarpenive, and she speaks to me directly, and she says, she implores me to take this mountain and use it for the glory of Scarpenive. Use this army of undead to protect the sun and create a glorious future for Scarpenive and her followers. And I'm all about that shit. And so I'm like,
very good. I love it. And in fact, I'll go one step further. Scarpenive will tell you that the one who can command these undead as an army awaits you.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So, also, all right. Well, so Ithel, what'd you get on your roll? And you're there as well, Rock, if you wish to be.
I've got 7.
7. Okay. You're going to fix the mechanism. It's going to take you a little bit, but you're going to fix it. Another ice skull will fall in that time. Unfortunately, I think your tools are you basically break your tools to do it. You have to like jam some shit in there to make it work. But you do get it to tighten back up. So.
Okay.
Rock.
That sounds good.
Now let's close the other door as well. Oh, that doesn't look good. It's broken. Oh. Oh. I have the pitchfork. I don't know where the others are. They are gone again. Deeper into this dungeon. Let's get out of here.
Rag, I fixed the door, so you don't have to worry about those. So where's the treasure? Where is the treasure? You found anything?
It's true. There's been a dearth of treasure.
I'm after cash here, and I think the sooner I get it and we can all leave, the better.
Don't you think that this is bad enough? What you have seen, like all these artifacts and everything. Like, get one of these books out here, which are in this other room. And,
what other room?
There was a room with like 12 books, like the chronicles of this place, and it's worth a fortune. I promise you.
I'm looking at him with some. Okay, I can get one of those, but I would still like to get some treasure. I mean, you're smart, yeah, right? You got your pitchfork, so now you want to leave.
Yes, I think this place has made you all mad.
Okay,
all got what we wanted.
Where are those books? No,
yeah, so there are some books. There's also a big picture of Nisa. Some books. If you this little door, if you look at the long hallway, I'll put your picture over there. That right there, there's a room in there that has, you weren't here last time, but basically there's a room in there that has these large 20-pound books. There are 18 of them. They're on little pedestals, and they collectively are the 18 volumes of the history of the Duvan Ku, and it contains all of their knowledge, all of their learning, all of their secrets.
Okay.
Extremely valuable.
So wait, 20 pounds.
There's too many to carry. You can't carry them all, unless you come up with some other kind of solution. But
No, but I can take like one or maybe two.
yeah.
Right?
Yes, the oldest must be extremely valuable.
Okay, will you help me take them, Rock?
Well, so Rock, Mage Eisenthras, the spirit who's currently riding shotgun in your mind, would like for you to
Yes, okay.
destroy these.
I know. He wants me to burn them explicitly. And I was thinking about back and forth if I should do that or not. And now that I have the pitchfork, I feel strong enough to resist the Magen, Mr. Magen. So yeah, but it's still in my mind. It's still something I'm
You can resist.
considering.
Yeah, you don't have to do it, but it's just.
I'm still considering it because it's a strong thought in my head. This is also why my thoughts come back to these books again and again. So if I can convince like Eiffel to get these books out together with me, I'm in.
Okay, so yeah, we can take them, but anyway, I would like to just take a peek at what's ahead of us. So I will take one book and go forward.
So after you grab a book, where are you going to go, Ethel?
I will go forward. So where did Marissa go?
Okay, all right. So deeper into the other part. Okay.
Yeah.
Back to there. So you guys have the map. It looks just like it. It's laid out just like it is on the map here. Marissa, where do you go?
Yeah. So the architect room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to. I can't read the symbols, but I kind of know from the map what they are, right?
Right. Yeah. You guys. I assume you guys scrawled on the map.
Okay. So I'll like. Maybe we can get some answers in here, and I'll walk up to the door. What's this door like?
Yeah. The door is barred, but also painted shut. Like they have painted the door so that you would have to like chip away at the paint as well. It's a weird thing to do. But
yeah, so I'm gonna remove the bar and then I'm just gonna kick it down because.
Okay. Meanwhile, Tig, where are you going to be while Marasa?
Oh, I'm with Marasa. I'm going. Okay. I'm going deeper in. I have instructions from my goddess to save our people.
Indeed. Inside, you see it's a room. It's like the size of a large bedroom. It's perfectly dark except for you have your torchlight, and then hanging above there is a bronze lantern hanging above hanging in the center of the room. The bronze lantern is lit. It's a fairly small light, but it casts a glow around. And beneath it, there is a sarcophagus. On top of the sarcophagus, it's been pushed open. On top of the sarcophagus, though, it's designed to look like a city. So it's like a three-dimensional carved city on the sarcophagus lid, right? And it's horizontal, so that like you could, like if it were closed up or whatever, you could like go around and look at the city right on top of the sarcophagus. Very, very detailed, very, very ornate. If you could somehow get the sarcophagus out of the dungeon, it would be worth a lot of money. Okay, it's incredibly detailed and interesting work. And then you'll hear a voice in the darkness, and you'll see a figure dressed in very, very wearing like very lovely gold robes that kind of flow down, right? And scarves wrapped around a desiccated face, face wrapped partially in bandages as well. Jewel baubles, kind of dripping all over hands and neck. And it says, it kind of points at Marasa and says, "Tell me your accomplishments."
And I look at this individual and I'm like, There's only one thing left to do in this world. Only one accomplishment left that I even desire. And no accomplishments have no other meaning for me. And my only accomplishment left is to reunite with my daughter.
And yet, even if you do reunite with your daughter, you have failed her as a mother, haven't you?
No, I have given her everything she needs to succeed.
It points at you, Tig, and says, "Tell me your accomplishments."
I have walked this earth for many, many, many years, and I have seen and witnessed so much. And I have my family, my tribe, my people have been destroyed. And so my greatest accomplishment is yet to come, wherein I take this mountain for myself and I save the sun.
And this mummy, this creature, it kind of steps back and recedes a little bit into the darkness and says, "You are both tainted by the river of time. You know nothing of what's to come." That's it.
Is he gone?
It's just standing there.
He said that we're tainted by the what of time?
The river of time.
Okay. And I walk up to him and I is he like
That's a
covered in?
woman. Yeah.
Okay, I walk up to her and is she like covered in like those little things, or is she just a reanimated corpse?
She's just a corpse. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put my hands on her shoulders and I'm like, from one woman to another, please help us continue life.
She says, "I will not associate myself with your failures. I have created magnificent things.
That no one will ever see.
My
Accomplishments
work,
mean nothing without context. You have failed.
my
And with
work
that, I'm
lives
just
on in the memory of all who tremble in fear of the Duvan Ku." You're having
And then
this
I'm-
argument.
And then I look at her and I'm like, no one even knows who the Duvanku are.
Sick burn. Meanwhile, back at the with Vrock and Ithel. So you guys are heading deeper into this part of the dungeon as well, right? Ithel said she was.
I'm still at the books.
This is your chance. You get a big experience reward if you destroy them. So
That's the point. No, I officially, my mind officially thinks, also to myself, that I still consider getting out, or if I should rescue my friends doing something stupid. Unofficially, my mind thinks about, let's get either far enough away that I can burn the books, which are here. And so in the second one, I succumb to that one, to that thought.
So while Ithel's gone, Ithel did get one book, but there are 17 others. You could begin burning them.
It happens accidentally. I didn't do that on purpose, really. And then I walk light-minded, freed from the pressure of Magen, deeper into the dungeon.
Indeed, indeed.
Because there's also no way out anymore without a good conscience. I don't rescue my friends.
As you're coming out of the room with the books, you hear, and
3.
And this time you also hear a clunk, clunk as the door on the east side of the chapel closes, drops down. The one that leads into this big hallway.
No. That's our way out. I have to warn the others. I run.
Ithel, you're making your way in. Ithel, you probably hear the conversation in that room with them arguing with the architect. What do you do?
Hello, who are you talking to? I'm just peeking in and glancing around the room.
Give me a wisdom check, Ithel, because you have a perspective that they don't have.
Okay, so that's going to be 11.
Ithel, you will notice as Mirasa's there yelling at this like mummy that's not resisting at all and grabbing it, and it's just kind of standing there, and they're yelling their various things, and Tig is there. Maybe Nissa's hissing at it or whatever. Nissa's very agitated. It's all there going on. What you realize that they don't realize is that the shadows in the room are animating while this conversation is going on. They are swirling, they are moving, they're moving independently of the things that are causing the shadows to be cast. That's what's happening while they're sitting there locked in conversation with the architect.
When I'm bringing my torch into the room, is that changing anything?
Just to the extent that it causes the shadows to recede or whatever. But just as a reminder, there's basically 3 light sources: your torch, their torch, and the little bronze lamp above the sarcophagus.
Okay, is there anything of value here? Something that's the sarcophagus, right?
There's no way you can get it out, but I mean, it would be really, really hard.
Could I maybe, take out 1 ruby or something like that?
I will tell you, the mummy is covered in various pieces of jewelry. So. Okay,
that sounds pretty cool. I'm going to approach Marisa and just whisper to her, look out at the shadows. They seem to be behaving strangely here. And I'm going to pickpocket the mummy.
Oh, nice. As you move in, she will turn her head slowly. There's a bit of dust that falls off her head as she turns it, right, to look at you and says, "Name your accomplishments."
Oh, accomplishments. So that's a hard one. Does it have any eyes? Is it looking just with empty?
Just empty black sockets.
Why do you need those? Why do you ask me this?
Answer the question. Name your accomplishments.
Okay. Did I manage to pick something of the mummy?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see this conversation. I mean, I'll give you the roll, but
I want to, I want to try to do it before I answer the question, right? So I'm going to talk.
You're stalling.
And get my packets full, and only after that I'm going to say something of substance.
Roll plus dexterity. See what you can grab.
Okay. 10. Yay.
Nice. You will be able to snag from around you cut off like a bracelet that has green gemstones and like another like a little charm, a little gold charm bracelet as well. You can grab those as you're having this conversation.
Okay, so I'm going to step back with this, and only then I'm going to answer the mummy. I'm going to say, I became independent woman. I'm got myself out from influence of my family, and I'm free to do whatever I please.
And yet, you miss them. You are nothing without your family. Isn't that right? You
I clench.
secretly love your father, even though you thrash and wail against him. You secretly know that you will become your mother someday. Isn't
Okay,
that
I'm going to stick torch into that mummy. So,
and at that point,
In
Nissa, you hear Nissa cry out, Tig. Nissa's shadow is Tig is or Nissa, and Nissa's shadow are like rolling around in a ball of rainbow fur and shadow right now. What do you do? Tig, are you there? Tig?
Yes. Sorry. I was muted. So I'm going to try and I guess I'm going to grab the torch from Marasa, and I'm just going to bring it close to Nissa to try to get the keep the
shadow away.
The shadow away,
Yeah.
And that sort of thing.
Yeah. Roll plus intelligence. This is kind of a quick thinking thing, I think.
All right, that is 9.
Yeah, it's going to work. It's going to work. Describe how you make the shadow go back enough just for Nissa to kind of escape.
Right. So what I do is I crouch down with the torch and I bring it close to Nissa, and then I kind of grab her by the paw and lead her toward me, while kind of waving the torch about.
And then you feel cold fingertips wrapping around your neck. Marasa, you'll see it. Tig's shadow is trying to choke Tig out. Marasa, what do you do?
Yeah, I'm going to take my torch and try and go for the shadow with the torch.
To create enough light to to kind of make it
to
dissipate.
Dissipate the shadow.
Yeah. You can give me a dexterity roll because it's a similar. You know the trick now, so just do it fast enough.
Okay. Oh, a 6.
All right. Let's see here.
Oh, geez, Louise.
Tig, the shadow has its hands wrapped around your throat. They feel their cold fingertips, right? And basically what happens is you just feel like your life force kind of dissipating, right? You feel it's more than it's more than just your vitality. It's more like the energy that makes you a living, breathing human. That energy is just being sapped rapidly. You're going to take a D10 damage straight away. So roll that.
D10s, baby. 1. Oh my goodness. Thank God.
Ithel, you said you were just going to jam a torch into the architect. I'm going to come back to Vrock in a minute. Ithel, you can just do that. The architect doesn't dodge or anything. Yeah.
I do that.
And it begins to light on fire. It's a mummy. Vrock, you hear this from you hear from further away as you're you're realizing that one door shut on you. You've got a fire going in the one room where you've lit all the books on fire.
Just
you hear
of smoke.
You hear you hear screaming and chaos going on from your companions down below. What do you do? Or down further.
And they don't know that yet, that our way back is blocked.
They don't know that. No.
But maybe together we can get the door open again. So, officially, I'm on the rescue mission. Unofficially, I need their help to get out of here.
Indeed.
So I do something which I wasn't supposed to do, which I really didn't want to do, which is like contacting the forces of the cursed pitchfork of Nishkara.
Mhm.
Because there are many undead things around here. And my turn undead, which I learned, like I studied hard, lots of homework, to learn that is definitely too weak to challenge these things.
Yeah, of course.
Here. But together with the pitchfork, maybe I have a chance.
Possibly. So what do you do?
I let the powers of the gods from the heavens, not those from beneath, flow through my body and walk as their symbol of destruction through this dungeon, trying to help my companions wherever I hear them screaming. So I walk as a living turn undead.
Indeed. Turn undead will work great here. So you can go to the room where they're at, where they're dealing with shadows. I'm gonna make them scramble. I'm gonna make them scrabble with it for just a little bit more. Marasa, your own shadow, you see it coming for you. What do you do?
Yeah, no, I'm swinging my torch around like wherever my shadow is.
Just trying to keep it away, keep it at bay.
Keep it at bay, yeah. And trying to kind of make my way to the exit of this room, I think.
Give me a strength.
Six. I'm doing great.
Your shadow like just grabs you as you're trying to like scramble away. I think you drop the torch. And your shadow just grabs you and like just puts its hands all over your neck and face, and you take a D10.
I got an 8. Does that ignore armor?
It does ignore armor, yeah.
Okay.
Ithel, you've set the mummy on fire, standing there burning. It actually makes no moves at all. And your own shadow rises up in the light of the flames and is lunging for you. What do you do?
Okay, I'm dodging. I'm trying to put myself, and the mummy bit, no, but it will be that. I try to move in a way that it will disperse it. So, I move sideways and then it's in the light and maybe it will disappear for a moment at least. And then I try to jump out of the room.
Yeah, give me a dexterity check.
Okay. So that will be here. 6. That's okay. I'm going to use lucky and turn that into the partial success. Yeah.
Turn it to what?
Into partial success. So I can once a day I can do that.
I think you're gonna. I think you will escape this particular dodge, but you're not going to get out of the room. The shadow's still chasing you down. Okay. Vrock, you run up to the threshold of the door. You see this burning mummy. You see a shadow grabbing, choking out draining the life out of Tig. Tig, like you can see her color is like really strange, has the shadow, like you see shadowy fingers wrapped around Tig's neck. You see Marasa pressed up against a wall with a shadow shaped like Marasa doing this thing. Are you gonna try to turn this?
Yes. Like an explosion of light in the darkness.
Indeed. I'm here for it. Let's see how it goes. Turn, right? Let's see. I don't see it noted on your sheet anywhere. We'll pull it up.
An attempt to hold undead at bay with the power of your faith and the holy symbol.
Do you have to roll anything, or is it just a thing that you can do? Let's see here. You can. Okay, yeah. Just give me a wisdom check. Just roll wisdom.
Yeah.
Wisdom test.
That I will do. And we still have -1 ongoing, right?
You do.
Then I get a 7.
It's going to work. It's going to work you will be able to hold them all off long enough for all but one of the people in the room to escape. Your choices of who, this is out of character choice.
Yeah.
It will be Marasa, it will be Tig, it will be Eiffel, or it will be Nisa.
Oh no, and I'm not on the list.
You are not on the list. Unless you want to put yourself in there. If you want to submit yourself to that, you can get them all out.
Yes, that's my duty.
Go right in the middle of it, right?
I stay as long in there as until everybody is out.
Okay. Give me the scene. Describe what it looks like.
Well, you can actually see like splinters of light illuminating the room, and whenever they touch the creatures, they turn into a blue fire. Whenever they touch something which is unholy here, it turns into this light blue fire, but it also burns those which are too close to it. So little tiny wounds stay on everybody just as a memory for what the gods have done to rescue you all. But I think the shadows, they slowly, after everybody escaping, they are turning to me and getting closer to me and starting to spike my skin as well. And you hear me chanting songs which I have learned, and until I was in puberty, because of my bad boys, I was kicked out of the choral. But until then, I learned them, and I'm singing them here in praise. The praying, fertility, rain, the clouds, the ever-returning cycles of seasons, how they rule the world and will never stop bringing happiness and peace to everybody.
So I want to just reframe the scene here, or summarize the scene here for everybody else. You all escape because Vrock goes in there and does his, he kind of keeps the shadows at bay, keeps the architect at bay, in fact, and you guys can all run out of the room, escape safely. And then you see, though, that the shadows being cast around the room are basically like trying to subsume Vrock. Like, you're all there. Vrock is like singing this song. He's just standing there singing this song while these shadows just like lunge out at him and claw at him and paw at him and threaten to overwhelm him. What do you all do? Does anybody react? Does anybody help him? Like, what happens here?
Yeah, I think he's gotten into a dangerous situation that I have to save him from.
Well, okay, so here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to use one of my 2 Quicksilvers, and I'm going to call upon the light of Scarpenive to just like fill the entire like area with her sunlight, and that's what I'm gonna do. Just like a burst of bright.
And what were you saying, Marasa, before?
Sorry.
That's okay.
That sounds like a better idea. I was just gonna like go hack at him.
Like shadows versus sunlight. I feel like I got this.
You got this. Yeah, you got this. Yeah. This is your jam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me the summon roll. Roll plus int.
All right. Okay. Well, that is a 7.
Okay. That'll work. You are going to cast them out. Here's what I think happens, Vrock. This calling in the light of Scarpenive, mixing that with the pitchfork of I forgot the name of it, but mixing that with the pitchfork, it's like a chemical reaction, right? It's like a bad chemical reaction. These two forces in this room, in here with this fucking like ancient mummy, right? Basically, I think what happens is the pitchfork just begins to like burn, like it just begins to like burn in your hands. It begins to like burn with a halo of fire on your body, right? You're going to take a D8 damage as you escape the room, but otherwise you will be able to escape. Just roll your damage and see how that goes.
That's a 5. Sorry, I was muted. 5, and I guess armor doesn't count here.
No armor. So you otherwise are able to get out. You're there. You're in the hall. You guys can slam the door shut if you wish.
I'd do that.
Okay.
Okay, so we're back in the hallway. I'm looking down. I'm looking at the map that we have, and I'm looking at the names of the rooms, and I'm like, I want answers. I think that we should go to the testifier.
Mm-hmm.
Why should we? I tell you, we are down to 3 skulls. The countdown is clocking in, and the door to the exit is closed. We need to find a way to open it again.
Okay.
Just
All right. Maybe we should split up. So I'll see if the testifier can tell us. But why don't you go check out what's down the hall? And then Tick, you can go with whoever you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the final room.
The one at the very end there. Yeah.
Yeah, because
where are you going?
I figured. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. That's probably like it's the whatever. It's the big thing. You know, it makes sense based off what. Yeah.
I'm shouting after you, and this is why I saved your life.
I thought, where will you be going?
I'm going to the final room, and I'm shouting at Vrag. Oh, come on, Vrag. Come with us. Don't be such a bore.
So you guys are just going straight to the end there. And you're going to go talk to the testifier first, though, right, Marasa? Or you're going there? That's the plan, Marasa.
Yeah, I just want to open the door and look inside the testifier room and kind of stay in the doorway.
We could do that first. The testifier door is. Grab it really quickly. This door is actually covered in. It's got a bunch of like hooks in it, like coming out of it, and there are human faces stretched out over the hooks, like skin, like leather face, kind of like stretched out. So they're like faces all over the door, stretched out on these hooks. But there's a door handle and there's a bar. What do you do, Marasa? I can't hear you.
I have a really bad feeling about this, but I'm going to go ahead and open it.
Okay. You can open the door. And your torchlight goes in. It penetrates in a little bit, but you can't see anything. You'd have to step inside.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'll take a step inside. That's fine. I'll go in as far as I need to kind of get a feel of the room.
You take a step or two in, and you can't move. You're stone paralyzed.
What can I detect? Yeah.
Well, so as you get a little further in, you kind of like stop and drop. I think it makes you drop your torch, and you see a man standing. He just looks like a skeleton with like a sort of waxy yellow layer of skin pulled over the bones, like no blood, no nothing like that, no muscle. It's just skin, yellowy skin pulled over bones, right? Very grotesque looking. And it just says, "And what oath do you take?"
Can I speak?
Yes.
I'll say, I swear I will return to my daughter.
You broke up. Say it again.
Oh, I say, I swear I will return to my daughter.
You can move again.
Okay.
Then what do you do?
Tell me, what is the way?
She just says nothing.
Is there anything else in this room?
Do you step forward more?
Sure. Yeah.
You take 2 or 3 steps, you get a little closer to him, and suddenly you can't move. And he says it again. What oath do you take?
I will find the way out of here.
And you can move again.
And so I'm looking around. I can't see anything, right?
Maybe. Let's see here. Maybe. The room appears to be, it's fairly small. You can see now as you get closer to him that his, like the rest of his body is like bone, but his head is not bone. It's a skull with the skin pulled over it, but you can see that maybe it's the teeth, maybe it's something about the way the light hits it, but you can see that the skull is actually made of like a sort of yellow crystal, right?
Yeah, I'm going to swing my sword and decapitate him.
You get within swinging distance, and you swing and you stop. You go rigid, right as you're very close to him. Right as your sword is in mid strike, and he's just like, his face is just like mere feet from yours, and he says, "What oath do you take?"
I will get you to give me the answers. Just like after I say that, I'm just gonna like slice the head off.
Good. You do. You like basically like you just your forward momentum continues, and you just like slice it off. The body falls, and this crystal skull rolls at your feet.
Can I pick it up?
Not as far. No.
She doesn't have to go back.
So yeah, I pick it up, and can I move freely about this room now?
You can, yeah.
Yeah, so I look around the room for anything insightful or useful.
No, there's nothing in it. It's a pretty small little tiny room.
I take the head out of the room, and I basically pull it up, and I'm like, now, testifier, tell me the way. Does anything happen? Useless. But it's like a solid crystal skull, right?
It is a solid, yeah, you can take it, solid yellow crystal skull. Back at the other door, I don't know how much of that you guys watched, but you can continue down the corridor to a door, the one that you have not interpreted yet. You don't know who's supposed to be there. You don't know anything about this one. The door is unbarred. There is a bar, but it's like lifted, like no one bothered to close it. And it's carved with an image of a man holding aloft a child pierced by 8 swords. What do you do? Tig, this was your rodeo. What do you do?
I'm like, this is where I must be. This is where I must go. Follow me or do not, but this is my destiny. And I swing the door wide open.
Okay. Ithel, what do you do?
I'm like skulking behind Tig, so I'm trying to not be very visible and, I proceed discreetly.
Okay, indeed. Vrock, what do you do?
I stay skeptical outside. I still feel like the good shepherd in the back. Like trying to understand who is needing my help the most and who's the maddest here. Or is it me in the end?
Indeed. You hear a very faint now, but you hear a woo. And let's take a quick 3-minute break. We'll come back.
So Jason, is that bottom hallway just like a dead end, or do we not know yet?
The bottom hallway, like just past the room where you guys are in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, it's a dead end, but there's. You can still go search down there though.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be doing that while the rest of them are doing whatever.
Sure. Sounds good.
I'm gonna insert an image real quickly. Got a pretty metal image for you here. If you look at the image on the left, you'll see that's what you see as you step inside Tig, all of you.
Mhm.
You see this skeletal lord with wearing this iron crown, sitting on a throne. He says, I am Praetor Pontifex Cyrus Carnathax Maximus, Lord of the Duvanku.
And I am Tig the Wise, emissary of Scarpanive, the Melixia of the Shining Eye, Black Summer Queen who lives in the sun and sends her daughters to do her work. And here I am, and I beg you to help the sun. Be one with us. Be one with the sun, and we together will spread light and death across the world.
Servant of Scarpanive, I am bound by oath from leaving this tomb unless I have been invited to lead a force in battle. Do you make the proposition? Do you offer me the opportunity to wage a war?
On all the enemies of Scarpanive, I do.
Vrock, how do you feel about all this right now?
What has gone into? What has she learned in future? Which lived through that she's turning to a demon lord, skeleton lord, one of the undead. I need to consider the weight of my pickaxe and see if I could sneak behind Tig, kill her.
Jesus.
I bet Eiffel could do it because Eiffel has backstab.
Oh no!
I can't. No, I'm bad at that.
I mean,
Clonk.
do you possibly? I think this could be while Tig is treating with Praetor Pontifex Cyrus Carnathax Maximus. It might be an opportunity for you guys to hang back and like discuss the matter a little bit without Tig being aware of it. I'm cool with that.
Okay, so what is happening here, Vrock? I mean, is she just getting some kind of deal with this, whatever that is? I'm looking at him, a bit confused expression. Vrock?
Let's say you, Vrock. Are you with us, Vrock? We may have lost Vrock.
We lost Vrock. Oh no.
There he is. No.
No. Okay, what is in the room apart from that, whoever that is?
Yeah, we'll just hold that for a minute. We'll see if Vrock comes back. Marasa, you can continue searching around. What do you do? Marasa, can you hear me? Philip?
Sorry. Yeah. I am searching that hallway to see where it goes. If there's a way out. I think I've lost confidence that any of the Duvanku left here, I don't feel like they're going to help us.
This corridor, it's covered in bone fragments, and the text describes it as lavishly blood-stained. There's an inscription on the walls that you can't read because it's Duvanku. But otherwise, that's it. Just a bunch of bone fragments.
And if I dig through them, is there anything to find?
Give me a wisdom roll.
5.
You are digging through the bone fragments. You are trying to, just find anything that you can find in this little corridor with just covered in bones and blood stains. Digging through it, not having a lot of luck. You will be aware of. You hear it. Maybe your companions don't quite hear it just because they're engaged in something and it's a little far away, but you hear it. Another skull drops much sooner than the last one did. Much sooner, like minutes, not even that, okay? You're down to 1 and it just drops. And I bet you that other one's going to go pretty fast too. The last one.
All right. Okay, I'm just going to run into the room with the others, and I'm like, we've got 1 skull left. We need to figure out what we're doing now.
Okay, so I want to cut before that happens. I want to now that Garrett's back. Garrett, can you hear us?
I'm back. Yes.
Okay.
Back from the dead.
Ithel was kind of asking you
what do you think about this? Is she doing a deal with a demon?
She will not.
I mean,
and then you can see me approaching her with the axe.
Okay, I'm going to sneak behind her and backstab her then.
No! Don't do that!
Sorry.
I know.
You're sneaking behind Tig as this is going on, Ithel. She's enwrapped in conversation with this figure. Roll plus dex.
Okay, that's not going to go well. So I have that's 7.
Okay. You are going to what does your damage do on a backstab?
I have +3, so that's d6 +3, and I have 2 weapons, so I can roll twice and pick higher number.
You could still let me bring you down with something like an interfere, like with clunky armor. Clonk, clonk.
That's true. Yeah, if Rock is following behind you might lose. Although I'm going to say no because Tig doesn't know you guys are being deceptive here, right? She knows you're back there. Like,
right.
It's what she doesn't know is what she doesn't know is one of them has a knife about to stab her. That's what Tig doesn't know. What
about Nissa? What's Nissa doing?
It's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Nissa may. I think Nissa will probably see the sword and be a little agitated, right? Right. She'll be kind of trying to get your attention, Tig. Tig, roll a wisdom check, Tig.
Oh boy, wisdom -2. That's okay. Well, that's a 4. I rolled 6.
I don't even need a roll for damage. Ithel. Whether Tig lives or not, we'll find out later. But Tig is no longer making this deal. Describe it.
I'm no longer
Okay.
making this deal.
Okay. So, me or Tig?
Ithel, you describe basically backstabbing, believing you killed Tig, and maybe you do, but what
Okay.
happens?
So, yeah, I'm sneaking into the room as she's speaking with the mysterious or, I don't know, ominous character on the throne, and I'm taking small steps to get closer and closer to her. Small, soft steps, taking out my dagger, and then with one swift move, I'm just stabbing her somewhere around her. I don't know. Into her back, trying to get to the heart from the back.
You stab Tig. Tig crumples to the ground. Nissa's going crazy, hissing and clawing at you, right? You might take some damage from Nissa. Homeboy, whose name's Praetor Pontifex Cyrus Carnithrax Maximus, he stands up like from the throne. He's tall. He's really tall. He's like 7 feet tall. He stands up and he just says, "Treachery." And he's got a big fucking sword, and he's got that sword, and he's raising it up on you. Marasa, you hear boo as the final skull falls.
And we are all dead.
And immediately, as soon as that last one falls, you hear just a cacophony of moans rise up throughout the entire complex. Like, you immediately hear like sounds and shuffling of things coming out of the child tomb. Marasa, you're aware of that right away.
Fuck.
I knew that was going to happen. Yeah, so I could hear everything that was going. I could hear the conversation that was going on in this room, right? With
I don't think so, because I think you were kind of down the way searching through the bones.
Okay, all right.
And then you eventually ran up and said, "Hey, we gotta get the fuck out of here." And maybe that's when the skull fell. That's when you see Tig laying in her own blood.
Yeah. And I'm like, "Traitors!" and pull out my sword at Ithel and Brack.
I'm hiding behind Brack.
And the guy's there too with the sword. It's just a big fucking clusterfuck. I think we handle this in epilogue. That's how it shapes up.
I think I'm going to put myself Brack between myself and Marisa, and I'm going to try to make a sprint for it towards the exit.
Yeah. Just hold that thought. Because the way is closed, right? And there's like tons of zombie kids.
Yeah, but there is like a second exit, right? No?
Yeah, but you have to go through the chapel, and you can't get back to the chapel.
Okay. So the door to the chapel got closed.
The door to the chapel got closed, right?
Oh yeah, then we're fucked. Okay.
But you may escape. Here's what I want. We'll narrate how it looks afterwards, but I want everyone to roll the d6. The result you don't want is a 5 or a 6. A 5 or a 6 means you do not escape with your life. A 1, 2, 3, or 4 is various degrees of escape. Okay? Let's just start with Brock. Brock, give me a roll.
Here's my die.
Poor Brock.
I roll, and I get a 1.
Oh, I think you got a 5. Okay. Awesome. Vrock will escape. Are you ready, Tig?
Yeah, I rolled a 1.
A 1. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Ithel, are you ready for your d6 roll?
I rolled 4.
Okay. And Marasa.
I got a 4 as well.
Everyone escapes with their lives. Those of you who escaped with 4s are going to be basically grievously injured. Like you will it will take you a long time to recover from your injuries, but you will manage to get out somehow. Those of you who have ones, you managed to actually escape fairly intact. You have a couple of options. This is all out of character stuff, but you have a couple of options. If you look at your little architectural drawing, the room that says the interrogator, that has a little shaft. You'll see it kind of emanating off the room there. That has a little narrow shaft that you could crawl up. If you go that way, you have to leave all your shit in the dungeon, okay? There's no way of escaping, okay, otherwise there. The other options for escape are... that might be it. I guess you could probably, I don't know. Okay, so those of you who have ones, you can find that shaft eventually, escape up that shaft, but you have to leave your stuff basically. Like anything you can keep on your body, anything you can keep like as clothing will stay with you, but any other gear gets left behind because it's very narrow. It's like a tight crawl up. Those of you who, but you can get out. Those of you who do not have ones, you have to fight your way through the zombies and try to open up that door, basically.
Okay, so I turn to
and
this
that's why you
lord.
end up so injured in the end. Like you're basically unusable at that point, but you're not
this
dead.
Lord guy here. I turn to him and I ask him, "Do you know how we can get out of here?"
You can narrate the whole thing. You have full control here. Go for it.
Okay, so I turn to the Lord guy and I'm like, and I basically start talking with him and find out that he will wage war with you. And I ask him to go at war against the undead Duvanku.
Oh, you want him to? Oh, well, that won't work like that. He has to bring the undead army, right? That's his army. He has to have an army, and that would be his army. You can basically, your two options for escape here are take the shaft and leave all your stuff,
right?
Or fight through the zombies. Those are basically the choices you have. So,
right.
So I think we will fight. I mean,
I think we fight.
Vrak, are you coming, or do you want to escape through a shaft like a little goose?
I'm still crumpled on the floor. Everybody
Tig's got to be dealt with some way. Like, I mean, Tig is like crumpled down on the floor, having been backstabbed. Will live somehow, but maybe it's in the future. We see it, but we see your hand bursting out of the ground, right?
I will ask Tig, do you want me to rescue you?
My body lays limp. Nothing happens. I don't respond because I am for all you know dead.
But I can feel, because I can cure people through the power of my God. So I will feel that you are still alive. And I have to make the choice to take the pitchfork or you with me. And I will take you with me.
Okay.
No.
Because I think humanity will improve more when you are back.
Nissa, like, when you try to touch me, Nissa, like, lunges at you.
Oh!
She is not pleased with what has happened because her master, her friend, her companion has just been laid to the ground, and she's one pissed off tiger, and so she's gonna run after you.
Oh.
She's gonna chase you out of this place.
Okay. Then it has to be, and so I try to escape, and the pitchfork I can't take with me, right? Because I can't take anything with me.
So you go to the shaft that's in the drawing.
And I need to leave the pitchfork behind, as it seems. Yeah, and that's a tough decision for me because it shouldn't stay in this place.
So I have a suggestion
think-
how it could go.
Yeah,
Maybe,
I think I need to protect the pitchfork, and I stay in the dungeon. I would say I infect myself with one of the undead creatures purposefully, but I want to control it. That I'm not part of the army and still undead, and will protect the pitchfork until the end of my days.
Oh, okay. So you're staying in the dungeon then?
I need to protect the pitchfork, yes, and because I won't survive very long, I turn myself undead.
Oh, okay. So you're going to use the power of the pitchfork to basically, you're going to become basically one of these creatures inside the dungeon, essentially.
Yeah. Only that I'm not under the demon lord's control.
Right. Well, yeah, none actually either, but none of the boss ones anyway. Those of you who are fighting your way out, what does that look like?
Gruesome, I imagine. I mean, I think that I have Mirasa, you're using shield and sword, right? Or
well, I lost my shield, but I could probably pick it back up again. But yeah, just kind of hacking.
So I think I
you could have picked up your shield earlier. So.
I have a dagger and I'm keeping up torch, so we have some kind of light source, and together we are just plowing through the hordes of undead children. Oh my god, what a picture.
And as you're making your way down that long hallway with the vaults, you're going to notice that there are things pushing up against the vault doors too, and you see the wheels like rattling and shaking. Like those may not hold forever, right? Once you get to the door, Mirasa, what do? The one that's dropped down.
Did we know what was south of that door? Oh, you said you weren't going to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I cut that. I cut that from the thing. It's
shut, right? Is there anything around the door?
No, it slides down from it's in a frame. It slides down. Big bronze door.
I think we use it's bronze, right? So we probably use some of our weapons and something else, if there is anything else here we can find to lift it just a bit and then lift it another bit. So I will be probably doing that while Mirasa is fighting off the undead. And we probably are pretty worn down by that point, wounded and all that.
Indeed, and in fact, I think it's a nasty. I mean, you're having to fight off undead children. You are. Eventually, one of the other vault doors will open, and more of them will begin to pour out, full-sized, zombies and stuff, crawling out, coming out in hordes, and they're just clawing and biting and scraping, and you guys are just having to you just have to basically ride it like a wave as best you can, right? You'll eventually wrench the door up, escape into the chapel, a massive horde of undead people flowing out right behind you. You can make a beeline for the kitchen, where the shaft in the kitchen has a ladder that you can climb more easily and escape. The fight takes a terrible, terrible toll on your characters. The escape takes a terrible toll. You will both you'll permanently reduce your strength and dexterity things by 1. Okay. But you escape.
Okay.
Rock. No, you know what you're doing. Tig. How do you escape? Under what circumstances? I don't know. You don't have to.
You
can choose to die.
No, I'm not going to choose to die. I have a conversation to have with this Pontifex. I'm still under compulsion to to help him, or for him to help me, or for us to have an alliance between the Duvan Ku and the cult of Scarpenive, and to try to keep the sun, the goddess of the sun, in full command and in full view, rather than having us wiped out. In
So
20
then,
years.
I guess what, like, he nurses you to health. Is that what's happening here, or or you manage to get up? You're not actually dead. And
Yeah, I
confer with him?
yeah, I do, like, I think I get up after some time has gone by. I mean, like, it hurt, but I'm okay. I've got, armor, and I'm all right. And so I get up, and I speak with this Pontifex guy, and I'm like, we're ready, to I'm ready to be, I'm ready to work with you. My goddess and I are ready to work together to create a new nation of sun and frost, of sun and the dead. And so, yeah. Kind of.
Indeed. And he will lead you out. He will walk out with you out of the tomb. A massive horde, just undead, just filling the halls, right? They part for him, and you will just follow behind him. Out of character, the only way he fulfills his obligation is if you guys swear on the skull of the testifier. We don't have that. so in the future, he may just fuck over Scarpenive and do whatever he wants, right?
Okay.
The skull of the testifier is required to keep him to his word, to bind him. But otherwise, he pretends to do the thing with you for now. Those of you who escape, there are bodies coming out of the ground, because there were graves in the soil as well, not just in the tombs. It's a fight all the way down the mountain of hordes of undead that are spilling out of the mountain, and are going to be wrangled by this guy eventually. But for now, just pouring down the mountain. They're probably going to ransack the village at the base of the mountain and kill everybody there. You just leave this in your wake as you scramble to safety as best you are able. Would you warn the village, or would you just get the fuck out of there?
I think we're going to warn them.
Okay. Right. What about Zeke Duncaster? Do you warn him? The old man.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, and I think that we will cut off the ladders on our way out, so it will the undead will need a moment to
right.
form a human pyramid or whatever.
Yeah, the ones in the tombs will eventually just pile up on each other,
Yeah.
But there are a bunch coming out of the ground too. It's not, it's not just
fuck.
them. So yeah. Awesome. Rock, yours is an interesting thing because you actually basically choose to sacrifice yourself, but use the power of the pitchfork to reanimate your body, right? Which I love. So you're kind of a revenant now. If we see you in the future, do you always stay in the tomb, or do you just, what happens? Let's say weeks, months, years down the road.
It is, my body doesn't look as good anymore as it used to be. I was pretty young still when I walked in there. I just pretended to be older. So I stay there and I protect the pitchfork. And what happens is that the Order of the Goose Knights is starting to treat me as a saint. And whatever happens to the world, by the way, with all the zombies coming out there, there is something you can see, every time when the winter is over, you see a goose, the shape of a flying goose, which is coming from moose and other little plants out of the ground of the hill. And you can see the shape of this flying goose, which once went south and never returned.
That seems like a good far ahead epilogue. Stretching our epilogue out a little bit to further in the future. Tig, Cyrus eventually betrays you and has no particular fealty or loyalty to Scarpenive. What happens in the end to the world? He's got this army of undead.
Well, I feel like, I mean, by betraying, does that mean like, does he eventually destroy my people, or does he just stop caring?
He just doesn't care. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, the like, I guess for a while there was some sort of alliance, but then it kind of split apart. But the Dayglow Savannah, kind of through the alliance, there's the Dayglow Savannah is now this kind of area of like undead or partially undead like bee people who have now like ascended to newer and greater heights, led by Tig the Conqueror, who the scion of Scarpenive, and it's a quite a veritable army of like the cult has really grown in strength, and it stays firmly in place in the savannas of the Dayglow savannas. So like it's established, and like folks are really scared, but at least the resurrection of the Duvon Ku has served us well, despite the inevitable just kind of ending of the alliance. So
right, and the collapse of much of the rest of civilization.
Right, yeah, that served us pretty well too. Yeah. No, that's great. It's great for me and my people.
For nature, yeah. It's nature having its way in a way, right?
Exactly. It's just like there's death and there's life, and civilization is a thing of the past, and so I think things are looking pretty good for Scarpenive.
Indeed. I mean, not all civilizations will fall, but many of them will, because there are literal millions of undead pouring out of this mountain.
Right.
Ithel, how did your family fare during this shadow that passed over the earth, that passed over the lands that you were responsible for, in part?
I think I managed to turn it to my own advantage. So okay. Most of our families estates fell to the undead and generally become wasteland. But I knew what was coming, so I was able to prepare and gather some loyal people around myself. Sell the stuff. I had a book, so I had a lot of knowledge about Duvon Ku. Which also helped very much. I don't think I sold it in the end. I was just studying it and using it against. So I think I managed to build some kind of community around myself. So establish a new estate and gather people and fight off the undead, and basically become in a time become some kind of queen. In my own right.
It's an apocalypse world situation now, basically, right?
Yeah, totally. I'm a heart holder here. So
exactly, you're a heart holder, essentially, right?
So I feel pretty shitty about it, because I kind of got what I wanted, but the cost was
at a very high price.
Yeah, a bit not what I expected it to be.
Right.
Indeed. Rasa, did you ever like get back to your daughter, whatever that means in this context?
I think
did
there
you
was a
ever have
moment
kid?
where after I escaped, I think I was just fighting the undead for a while, but I realized at one point that I was no longer in the same universe as the one that my daughter existed in. So I think that I actually go back down into the mountain and try and learn everything I can about their technology and their magic, and see if I can discover a way.
Yeah. Who knows?
Maybe I don't.
Who knows? Who knows? The world is covered in darkness, and that's the end of our series. Let's do our extreme award.
Darkness and sunlight.
It's true, yeah, of a sort. Yes, it's true. It's covered in a figurative darkness.
Bright neon darkness.
Indeed. Grand total of experience, including the conclusion of the adventure and all the treasure that you got, is you each get 3,250.
3,250. Okay.
Indeed. Frock is a revenant. Ithel is a hardholder. We have to play Apocalypse World Fallen Empires now. Marasa might be getting herself unstuck in time over and over again. Living out some nightmare loop of lives repeatedly.
All right.
various things. Okay, cool. Well, so that was Death Frost Doom. It can end lots of different ways depending on the decisions you make. I changed the dungeon countdown mechanism just slightly. The way it's supposed to go in the module is that the skulls are falling, but the skulls fall precisely every 10 minutes in fiction time. I have no interest in tracking that, so I don't do it. And then what's supposed to happen is as soon as you destroy the sacred parasite, as soon as all those souls are released from the little things, the number of skulls represents the number of minutes you have before the undead actually come alive, right? I switch it up to make it be like they don't come alive until the skulls are all down. It's in the same spirit as the module, not quite how the module would have you do it.
Right.
There are lots of things obviously there's lots of parts of the dungeon you didn't do, and that's okay. You're not meant to do it all. But there are some interesting characters in some of those other rooms. There is a bottomless pit that is literally bottomless. Well, not actually. You just fall and fall and fall. It's up in the upper northern corner of that last part of the dungeon. If you fall in the bottomless pit, there's an albino tarantula in there. If you fight it, if you get knocked into the pit, you will fall until you die of old age. Unless you're a young elf, in which case you might see the bottom right before you hit. You'll see the bottom, you'll live long enough to slat at the actual bottom of the pit.
So what do you eat while falling?
So that's the thing. There's a magic in the pit that that basically suspends all your physiological functions, so except for aging. So you just fall and age. It's a little silly.
Well, they just had to make that part work. So
Right, exactly.
I once ran this for a group, and then it was Dungeon World though, not World of Dungeons. And then a few months later, the same group of characters, I had them find the other end of the pit, where the pit lets out, and I basically described this person falling out of the pit, kind of relaxed, and then they turn and they're like, and they see the bottom and it's splat, having fallen so far for so long.
Is there was there anything in those tombs or with the
the ones without kids are loaded with treasure. The non-kid ones, yeah. The non-kid ones, they have treasure inside them. There's like masonry that you can chip away with a knife that is loaded with coins and shit. So
fuck.
Yeah, so you just went the wrong one.
Happened to completely skip.
So I was on a good trail with the.
You were, yeah. If you had kept going, you would have found more treasure.
Well, in the world we are living now in, gold is not that valuable.
It is true. It's a good point, right? Yeah, like
so. For this module, like if you choose to abandon the mountain, does the apocalypse still hit? Like, is that answered?
So what happens is once the countdown timer is done, nothing will happen as long as you don't kill the sacred parasite that has all the little spirits in it. You gotta keep that alive. Okay.
So when she stabbed that with the pitchfork, that was what.
That's what set off the troubles, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any way to get past that parasite without killing it?
Yes, you guys had the opportunity to do so. Tig chose to kill it. So.
Okay, I got it.
So funny.
Yeah, like you can play the song and it'll get smaller so you can pass it, and then you just like go past it, right?
But someone still has to keep playing the song, or
no?
Does it just...
Well, no. You can stop. It lasts for like 6 rounds in D&D, basically.
Right.
As soon as you stop playing the song, so it'll come back, and you'll have to deal with it again. But
so basically, I could have two of us could stay on the like organ side, play, then go and loot the tombs with the undead, and another pair could go through the rooms with the architects and all those.
Right. Yeah.
That's not fun. That's not fun though.
Right. And hey, you know what? If I hadn't killed that slime, Vrock would have. He was working pretty hard at it. So
I probably would have too.
Yeah.
Don't blame me. I just made the killing blow.
So
we're all on the same
another
page.
thing is, you guys would have escaped much easier if you had just let Tig do her deal, right? If Tig had just done her deal, Cyrus would have like let you guys out, right?
But he would have been like, it would have been like.
By the way, was there any way to stop them after the countdown struck? Like, I don't know, collapse the mountain or whatever.
Once the parasite is destroyed and therefore all the souls are released, and once the countdown is going, there's nothing you can do. They'll eventually get out of the vaults. There's many dead people, many on the mountain itself that aren't even in the vaults, right?
Buried under the graves.
So yeah, and so one little point of order is, as you guys would have come out into the cabin, certain things in the cabin are eliminated at this point, like the stag head would be alive and whipping back and forth and screaming, very Evil Dead, right? That kind of thing. There would have been zombies all over the fucking place. You basically had to fight them down the mountain essentially to get to the bottom. So just fight your way through.
Yeah. Was this deal with this guy part of the module, or was that something
at the end?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that picture on the image board, that's in the book. So.
No, I mean, but him offering the ability to do a deal with him.
Yes, yeah, that's all he wants. He wants you to make an offer whereby he will lead. You need to make him an offer. Basically, you have to give him an opportunity to lead an army in battle. That's the only way he can leave the tomb. So. If we didn't make him this offer, he will stay there together with the undead, or? Well, the undead will just spill out leaderless, basically.
Right. Like, it's a matter of whether they're kind of controlled or
somewhat under control or not.
So it wouldn't be that apocalyptic. I mean, it's an island, right? If I remember.
Well,
correctly.
no, but like they would disperse more, so they might be easier to handle. What made it a problem is that he got out and can lead them.
Yeah,
right?
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we killed him or didn't do a deal or took Tig with us, that maybe it would help. Okay.
One way or the other, it's a million undead
It's a
unleashed
6
upon the
million,
world.
6 million
6
undead.
million undead
Right, roaming
unleashed
around.
upon the world. It's not going to end well one way or the other, whether they have a leader or not.
I think that's probably right.
So, like, the idea is that the countdown started when we started exploring, right? Like outside of the chapel.
Yeah, as
Once
soon
we
as you
open
get
the door.
past-
Yeah.
And so, like, you
that
can
one door.
keep exploring, and you can even let the countdown go out so long as you don't kill the parasite.
The parasite, right?
Okay.
That's funny.
I can imagine a game where you hear the last skull drop and nothing happens.
Nothing happened.
And what
Yeah.
about? I
you
mean,
would perceive it as like what happened. I don't know. Yeah.
is there any
The-
info about what was the background of that? I mean, how this, let's say, state of this dungeon was achieved?
Well, so the skulls were the skulls of those 12 priests who went down to seal away the darkness, right? All they are is just they're a last minute defense against the creatures animating, basically. Like it was.
So it's like a.
There wasn't much
It's
there.
like a it's like a ward. that they
Yeah,
put
just
their
a,
life
yeah,
in.
a very last minute, easy to break ward, right? That was a thing. The whole point of the Duvan Ku in this dungeon is basically they were inventing magic. I mean, that was their whole thing. They were inventing magic, and to get there, they had to do a lot of human sacrifice to figure out how the powers of the world, the energies of the earth worked. And
So 6 million people died just so everybody else could, like heat up their coffee with a fireball.
have magic,
Yeah.
essentially, right? Yeah.
So is that like stuff you would find out from those volumes?
Yeah, there's if you for some reason take the time to do it, there's lots of information you can learn, like in different parts of the dungeon. Yeah, so yeah, it's but you're always going to have imperfect information. There's no way you can know it all. The whole thing about Deathfrost Doom is it's a dungeon. You'll notice there's no monsters, right? Like there are no monsters apart from the bosses at the end. The whole thing about Deathfrost Doom is about like expectations, and what you think is happening and what is the right move to make in the circumstances, and and like the basic idea of like, why are you still doing this?
Right. It's sort of like, I was thinking about it. It's kind of like a curiosity killed the cat sort of dungeon.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
And also
the PCs are the monsters. Like
the kill first, ask questions later is also like a thing.
Right.
Like
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's a dungeon about expectations. Like what? Okay, well, this thing is happening, so that must mean something, right? So I better do this or I better do that. Like you guys were making a lot of assumptions, right? Which is fine. That's the way it's supposed to go. So
yeah, we assumed that the countdown was like our doom if it got to the end of it, when it wasn't really at all.
Well, I mean, also like this module is like known for being a destructive, killing dungeon. So just have fun with that. Like I was like I made my character kind of really stupid just because it was more fun that way. Yeah.
It's definitely like like I think it always ends some version of this way, right? Like every time I've run it, the undead horde always gets out. Like it's never not happened, And it has that reputation of being just like a thing that sets up like the terrible future of your world, like that.
Right.
So it's that causes your world to be the way it is now. Like it's that kind of thing. But
oh man!
And the fun of it is just doing it. It's the exploration. You guys brought a lot more character into it, which is really fun. I imagine when most people do Deathfrost Doom, they don't do as much character development as you guys did, especially in the second and third session. So that was really fun. I enjoyed that part of it a lot. I liked the ideologies that were driving Vrock and Tig. I enjoyed that a lot. I thought the little story hooks about going into the future and then living a life and then coming back, I thought that was interesting how it drove play.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. Oh, that's liquid time, by the way. The mountain is also filled with liquid time, and that's a water clock up in the cabin. And so every time you fuck with it, you're fucking with time in liquid form. So
Right.
that's what that was. And yeah, but that's the dungeon. That's Death Frost Doom.
All right.
I hope you all found it enjoyable.
Yeah, thank
was
you.
fun.
It was
Yeah,
great.
it's an experience.
It's an experience. Yeah, it's definitely an experience. You can say you did it. You can say you played it. So that's good.
And somehow we all survived.
I know. Yeah, I was being
Yeah.
super, I was thinking about how I should have set up that ending. I think I should have set it up differently. I should have set it up to where I gave you a choice. You can take the shaft, or you can fight your way through, and then have that determine what happened. Right? But
Right.
whatever. I think it worked out fine.
Yeah.
But that's probably what I would have done if I'd thought about it for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But I already had you guys do your roles, so I was like, fuck it. So.
Well, thank you so much. It was awesome.
Yep. It was super fun. It was great to play with you, Machi. I think it was the first time. No, we played Worlds in Peril together for a little bit. That's right.
Yeah, correct.
Indeed. Cool. Well, we may see these characters again in the future. I don't know. I run lots of World of Dungeons, so you guys are welcome to bring these back if you want to in the future. I'm cool with that.
So, like, in the future of World of Dungeons, would these characters be dealing with undead hordes, or is it just sort of a
I think we might see like an aftermath, sort of, right? Like what happened at the end of it all. That might be in the background, right? So
Moon poison is going to be
like, oh, by the way, there are zombies out there.
It might be just a thing you have to always cope with, right? Like maybe your other character, even if you don't play these characters, if you play your other characters for World of Dungeons, or some other character you make, it could just be that like you always have to worry about like a roving horde of ghouls or whatever, like a road, like it's just
which is not totally out of the canon of high fantasy anyway.
So.
All right.
Just all of a sudden, all those random skeletons in the dungeons have a culture behind them.
There's a reason. There's a history, right? You know why it's happening. Some rando undeads that you run into. So, all right, cool. It's super fun. I'll let you guys go. All right.
All right.